I still remember the day Kofi found the gold. Even now, when the wind whistles through the baobab trees at night, I hear the whispers of the spirits warning us, but back then we were blind, just as Kofi was. Our village, Nyandira, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, was a place where life moved with the rhythm of the earth. We fished in the river at dawn, hunted in the forests, and gathered under the ancient iroko tree to tell stories under the stars. The elders spoke of the spirits that watched over us, some kind, some vengeful. Most of us listened. But Kofi was a hunter, strong and skilled, but always hungry for more. He wanted a life beyond our simple ways, beyond the clay huts and wooden spears. His wife, Adisa, was content with their modest home, their children running barefoot in the dust, their meals of roasted maize and plantains. But Kofi? He wanted more than cassava and millet. He wanted wealth, power, a legacy that would make his name known beyond our village. One evening, Kofi ventured deeper into the forest than he ever had before. The sun had long dipped below the hills when he stumbled upon a hidden cave. Inside, he found what every man dreams of: gold, piles of it, glimmering under the dim light. Chains of pure gold, coins from kingdoms we had never heard of, bracelets too heavy for any wrist. And there, standing among the treasures, was an old man. His skin was wrinkled like the bark of an old tree, his eyes dark as the night sky. "Take only what you need," the old man warned. Kofi nodded, but in his heart, greed had already taken root. He filled his leather pouch with as much gold as it could hold, ignoring the old man's piercing gaze. When he returned to the village, his hands trembled, not from fear, but from excitement. Overnight, Kofi's life changed. He no longer wore the simple cloth wraps of a hunter. Kofi used his wealth to buy land, cattle, influence. He built the largest house in the village, its walls of stone instead of clay, its roof of fine thatch imported from the coast. The elders frowned but said nothing. The villagers whispered but still accepted his gifts. But we all felt it. A shift in the air, a change in the winds. It started small. A hunter disappeared in the same forest where Kofi had found the cave. The boy, strong and full of life, withered like a dying leaf. The best healers in the village tried everything, herbs, chants, offerings, but nothing worked. Adisa wailed at his bedside, pleading with the spirits, but the spirits do not bargain. Then his second child fell ill, and the third. One by one, Kofi's children faded, their laughter replaced by silence. His cattle died in their pens. The gold he had once cherished lost its shine. His home, once filled with guests, became empty, cold. Desperate, Kofi sought the old man in the cave. He retraced his steps, his once powerful body weakened by grief. And there, in the same spot where he had first seen him, the old man stood waiting. "I warned you," he said, his voice calm, almost sad. "The spirits take as they are owed." "Please," Kofi begged, falling to his knees, "I will return the gold. I will give it all back." The old man shook his head. "It is not gold they want, it is balance." Kofi screamed. He threw the gold to the ground, clawed at the dirt as if he could bury his mistake. But the spirits had made their choice. When he returned home, the last of his children was gone. Kofi no longer spoke. He no longer hunted. His wealth was meaningless. Adisa left him, unable to bear the weight of her grief. His name, once spoken with admiration, became a warning. Mothers whispered to their children, "Do not be like Kofi." Do not take what is not yours. One morning we found his house empty. Some say he wandered into the forest, never to return. Others say the spirits took him, just as they took his children. All that remained was the lesson. And so, when the wind howls through the village at night, when the river runs too still, we remember Kofi. We remember that greed is a hunger that can never be satisfied. And we remember the spirits, always watching, always waiting,